the parties, and then we would have deliberations in private. Is that correct, Helen? Is that the usual course of events for these meetings?
Yes, Chair. I guess just to be clear, there are two levels of private, and for the purpose of recommendation 1.1, that is generally for the panel to consider whether you wish the entire report to be considered in private session. It feels that it's a bit strange today, because although it's private session, obviously it's private session which the complainants and the complainee counsellor are entitled to attend. So we have quite a lot of people other than the panel here in any event who would be entitled to continue to be here throughout the majority of the private meeting, should you decide to hold it in private. However, Chair, there will be a second part of the meeting where the panel will probably or could want to deliberate between themselves, and in that scenario, it's perfectly reasonable and normal to ask everyone other than the panel and your advisors to leave the room, and then basically come back when you're in a position to make a decision. And that sort of practice is what happens, for example, in licensing panels and in other equivalent scenarios. You don't have to do it, but certainly other equivalent panels find it useful to conduct their business in that way. Oh, and to be clear, the investigating officer would also leave, so it would just be committees officers, the panel, and myself who would remain in the meeting, should you want to do a sort of sub-private meeting within what's already a private meeting. I hope that's clear, Chair.
It's fairly clear, maybe not entirely, but fairly clear. Do other panel members have a view on this?
I have to confess, Chairman, I'm slightly unclear about what we're being asked here. Are we being asked to hold the when you say in private, are we being asked to hold the what one might describe, for a better word, the evidence session, where the complainants and the complainee respond in private, or not? Is that what we're being asked?
Yes.
Okay.
That is typically the way the panel and the Wider Standards Committee handles standards complaints, but it's not a requirement. It's something that the panel or committees, the case may be, determine on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, and forgive me, Chair, if I'm taking up too much time, but
go for it.
What practical difference does that make, given, as you've pointed out, the complainee and the complainants are here, so it's not in private, really?
Would you like me to respond to that, Chair?
Please.
The practical difference is that the complainants and the complainee are here, but there is an admittedly distant possibility that there may be other people interested and watching on the council's public YouTube channel.
I see.
Personally, I don't think that those will be legion, but there's a possibility that there may be a few people.
Can I just check? First, we're going to hear from the complainant and Councillor Manro if he wishes to speak, and then after that we will deliberate amongst ourselves and everybody else will leave.
I think the investigating officer will present her report, and then we'll hear from Councillor Manro and the complainant, and then we'll ask people to leave. That's one option, isn't that right, Helen? Or we could ask them to leave.
Yeah, well, what I was, I was going to present the overall report just to give you a framework. Rhiannon may have a few, Rhiannon Evans, the investigating officer, may have a few words of introduction to say. However, I would anticipate that probably the investigating officer's role is more to answer your questions. I mean, I'm not sure about Ms. Evans' approach, but I've always felt that when you have a full report, out of respect to the committee members. I don't see the value in repeating what's already in that report, so it would mainly be answering questions.
Okay.
Chair, Ms Evans will leave along with everybody else. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
Okay, so does the panel think we should hear from Councillor Mamre and the complainant and the officers as we are, or do you think we should move into a more restricted setting for that? Sorry, Cam, I can't hear you. It was very faint.
Sorry, Chair, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
I mean, I think we should do the second bit in private, as Helen has advised, and that's what happens with other committees.
Yeah, no, I think we're agreed that we're going to do the second bit. Our deliberations and our conversation will be in private. It's whether the first bit, where the officers introduce and we hear from Councillor Mamre and the complainant, whether that's also in private or whether that's as we are now with everybody.
I do agree with that as well, Chair.
Sorry, what was that, Umu?
I do agree with that setting, the second one, which was that we listen to everybody and then in private we deliberate.
Okay. Thank you for that. Cam, do you have a view?
I'm happy to go with that.
Okay. And I take it that Greg was also be happy to go with that.
Yeah, just for confirmation that we'll have the first bit in public and the second bit in private. Is that what we've agreed?
Yes.
Yes, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, is that all right then, Helen? That's our decision, yeah, and that's not.
Can I check whether I need to stop the live stream? Are you saying that I should broadcast it or that I should stop the live stream?
I don't think we should have the live stream.
Okay.
Again, guided by Helen, that's our decision. Is that right?
Well, yeah, just to be clear, Chair, I think we're talking about the first bit of the meeting, and do you want that broadcast or not?
No, thank you.
No.
I'm happy for those that are in attendance to hear it and see it.
Okay.
But please advise if we're doing anything which is, very unusual or extraordinary.
I think that was where the confusion was coming in, because
Okay.
it's not standard practice. But as I said, it's for you to determine. It's not standard practice to broadcast any of these.
Right.
But it's up to you.
But those who are listed as participants who are here in attendance, including the spokesperson who spoke earlier, those will be able to see the deliberation.